Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's a green week, heavily green week after slight red last week. I'm up at the moment about 21,000. I think this is showing slightly wrong, but yeah, it's sort of a little bit uncertain still in the market. I'm not sure I would sort of trust this up move all that much unless we sort of get a more sustained across the board up move. This is in sort of three or four tokens really, and a lot of them are sort of in low single digit gains. So yeah, we'll see. But let's come back to that and have a look at the news. It wouldn't be Crypto Sunday without a slight sort of embarrassment for the SEC, and their sort of campaign against Ripple has taken another blow. They were suing, sort of taking action against Ripple and the co-founders personally, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, and they have dropped the case against them, or asked the courts to dismiss it. This was, I believe, going to trial for them personally in April. The main sort of case is separate to that, and they're no longer pursuing that claim. So interesting whether they thought this was, basically a certain loss. They've decided to not even sort of let it go to trial. A lot of people are sort of saying this means, everything with Ripple is done and dusted. That's not the case. It's far from over, and they'll still say, certain parts are securities selling, securities transactions, and that sort of thing, even if XRP itself being traded isn't. But they'll try and get some sort of win out of this, I think. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good that they're dropping the personal charges at least. I do think the response, I think Brad and the others are sort of coming out swinging, a little bit too much. I sort of think maybe take it as a humble win and sort of, know that you've won and sort of be conciliatory. But yeah, they're coming out and sort of saying it was inexcusable for them to even be going after us, and good riddance. So yeah, I don't think that's the way to act, but that's them. On the negative side, I guess this was always coming. New York, on the negative side, I guess this was always going to be coming from someone. The New York Attorney General is suing Digital Currency Group, Gemini, and Genesis over the sort of lending fiasco. Gemini were offering sort of a reasonable yield on their exchange, and they were farming that out to Genesis, which is owned by Digital Currency Group. Gemini being the Winklevoss twins exchange, which is still going, but there was reportedly sort of $1.1 billion lost. And yeah, they've decided to even go after Gemini, which the Winklevosses are extremely unhappy about. They're saying that the Attorney General is blaming a victim for being defrauded and lied to. Whether they should have sort of done their due diligence on Genesis's lending, and whether they should have been offering lending at all. I think that is the sort of the criticism. But yeah, DCG are saying they are shocked by the baseless allegations in their complaint and intend to fight these claims in court. Honesty and integrity have always been my guiding principles. Not sure I would agree with any of that, really. It's not really a baseless allegation. There was sort of fault there for sure, and they've certainly not been honest all the way through. It looks like they knew full well that Genesis was in trouble, and they were sort of saying the balance sheet is strong. So yeah, I don't think there's honesty sort of running all the way through there, but yeah, nobody likes to see these sort of constant court battles, so yeah, we'll see where this one goes. And away from the news, we're starting to get the Messari quarterly reports, almost like a stock earnings, just to see where some of the projects are. Not all of mine sort of have a report like this, but some of the bigger ones do. So the last sort of 3 months has not been particularly bullish in crypto overall. So these reports were never going to be all that good, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. So sort of dive into some key metrics. I don't tend to sort of look at the monetary ones all that much because most of them are just based on token price and market cap. But revenue up slightly, which was pretty good. The market cap is up, obviously, but yeah, revenue being up means more fees, even if there are less fee payers, and the transaction fee is a little bit lower. But yeah, you've had non-vote transactions, which are the sort of real transactions on the market, dropped 25%, so that's not good. The number of fee payers, so your sort of I guess proxy for daily active users, is down 37% after being up last quarter, so that's not good at all. Down into double figures now. Active validators is up, which is good, back up to almost sort of mid late 2022 levels, so that was good. Total staked is up again. That's partly due to the market cap. DeFi total value locked again, 32% up, which is double the circulating market cap. So that has actually increased. DEX volume down, and NFT volume absolutely tanked, 56.6%. So most of my Solana is actually in NFTs, so that's not gone well. I probably don't actually have the Solana total that is reported on my spreadsheet. That's sort of something that I can't automatically track, but yeah, I'm sort of hoping in the bull market money sort of comes into altcoins, and then people make profit on the altcoins and want to sort of put that into NFTs. So I'm still sort of quietly hopeful, but yeah, it's not looking all that great. So just looking at transactions a little bit more, they give you the daily vote transactions, which is up. Guess that just means there's been sort of more votes, considering overall people seems to be down. So that's not all that good. Average daily fee payers seems to be down because there are not a lot of new people. 11,000 daily new fee payers, where it's sort of been higher than that, was very high in Q2, which I think was down to the Helium and Hive Mapper and all that sort of thing seemed to launch in Q2. There was a little sort of bump there. The average daily signers is down. That's sort of been continuously down since Q3 last year, which isn't good. Sort of monthly retention and average days active is sort of, it took a little bit of a big drop last month, but is sort of back to what it was previous couple of quarters, and yeah, sort of transaction fees down in SOL terms and slightly up in dollars, but still very, very low for both of them. This is one criticism that Solana normally gets. People say it's completely centralized and, you know, anyone can control it. I don't quite think that's the case. The Solana sort of faithful normally snap back with these sort of numbers. So validators are back up to, again, sort of 2022 levels. The Nakamoto coefficient, which is sort of an indicator of decentralization, is down to 29 from sort of the low 30s, but that is higher than an awful lot of projects. And the validators are now in 34 different countries, in 312 data centers. So that's a new high, continuously up. But I think the centralization thing is that, you know, it's sort of run by a single entity really, and that it can be sort of shut down and restarted sort of really by a group of people. So it's not really about these numbers. I think these numbers could go, you know, as high as they like, and people would still sort of say it's centralized, but don't really know how you get away from that. I don't think Solana is sort of meant to be the most decentralized in the world. It has other strengths. I do think people are sort of too tribal, as if Solana and Ethereum could never both be successful. I think they can sort of have a place doing different things. So let's hope people see sense. This was good as well. The amount staked in Sol terms is almost back up to the pre-FTX drop levels, which is good. People don't want to be sort of unstaking and selling it. It's obviously down in USD value because it was a higher price back in the pre sort of FTX days. This is sort of probably will be rising now a little bit with recent bumps to Solana, but yeah, it's best to sort of focus, I think, in Sol terms. That's what people are actually doing with their Sol, rather than these numbers just moving about with the token price. People could sort of not move anything, Sol doubles, and people start saying, "Oh, look how much people are staking," and you think, well, they're not actually. It's just the token price has gone up. So the green line is the one to focus on, I think. And again, this is people's sort of main criticism of Solana is the outages. So they've now gone 234 days without an outage. People would sort of say, some of the hardcore say, even one outage means that you should never use the platform, because it's awful. It should never go down. Ethereum has gone down, of course, and they've had sort of fairly major issues, but not gone down in short periods. Sort of seen appalling performance for a day or two, and then it's sort of come back up, but that doesn't count as an outage. So yeah, I do sort of think this is teething problems basically, but yeah, it's good to sort of see a little bit more stability. Obviously they've had periods like this before and then had 2 outages, but they are pushing forward with the Fire Dancer new client. So the idea is that if one client has a bug, they could just move on to the Fire Dancer platform, or vice versa, until the other one is fixed. So you would essentially never have downtime, unless sort of 2 different bugs, because they're written in completely different ways. 2 different bugs attacked both at the same time, which is sort of rather unlikely. But yeah, that's hopefully we'll sort of see this continue, and it'll people will then say it's broken the all-time record, and maybe we could go a year without an outage. That'd be good. And then I sort of covered this over sort of the past few months when they were happening, but it's sort of good to round them up. More sort of links between Solana and Ethereum, and sort of projects bridging or even moving from Ethereum to Solana, which is pretty good. MakerDAO were sort of forking the Salana virtual machine and sort of making their own chain, but it would be sort of using the same underlying code as Solana. So they're not going to use the Solana token, but I sort of mentioned before, Ivan on Tech, sort of a big engineer, sees this as positive because people will be using Solana type code, and there'll be more tools being written for Solana code, and just more people using that code base rather than using sort of all Ethereum. So yeah, that was good, rather than sort of just Solana projects using Solana code. You also had Eclipse, a roll-up as a service provider. They were sort of, I believe they were going to be on Ethereum, and they've pivoted to a level 2 powered by the Solana virtual machine. Some tried to label this as a win for Ethereum at the expense of Solana. Some, obviously the Solana community see this as a positive. And you had Neon EVM. And you had Neon EVM, a smart contract deployed on Solana. Mainnet launched in mid-July. That was pretty good. Averaged 22,000 daily transactions, which is rather nice. Some criticism about tokenomics, but it's new sort of platform, and yeah, that's I would say any use is good use. And Hyperledger Salang, a new product released by Salana Labs. Compiler enabling developers to write Solana programs in Solidity, which is the Ethereum language. So I just see more links between Ethereum and Solana as very promising. A lot of the other sort of layer ones, Avalanche and people like that, and Cosmos, I believe, are sort of basically trying to go it their own and sort of capture everything they can on their own chain, whereas Solana seems quite happy to sort of be a partner, essentially, or a sort of competitor and partner to Ethereum, which I think is good. Ethereum's about 25 times the market cap of Solana, I think, from recent numbers. So yeah, I think it's still got potential to catch up, and I don't think going it alone is the way. So yes, you had some NFT fairly awful news as well, and some sort of DeFi news. Some of that wasn't too bad, as I say. Total value locked up. That's partly due to the token price increasing. Stable coins is sort of pretty flat, not going down at least. Liquid staking rate is up to 2.9%. NFT volume, as I say, absolutely bombed. Average daily NFT buyers was down to 4,600, but the C NFTs, which are these sort of tiny little compressed NFTs, up from sort of 4,000 in the first quarter when it was just getting going to 116,000 and now to 487,000. So that's getting quite a lot of use. I think this was sort of all manner of uses. Helium, I think, was using sort of compressed NFTs for the mobile network, and you're sort of getting a lot of art based drops, people just dropping sort of free little NFTs which you can sort of trade around or just keep as a little bit of fun artwork. So yeah, that's is cited as something that can really only be done on Solana or sort of other projects with extremely low fees, and other projects haven't really sort of introduced the compressed NFT technology. So that's good. Active programs down 5%, still pretty good, I would say, as sort of used programs. New program, this is a result of new programs being down. Obviously some old ones are getting sort of dumped and stopped, and not enough new ones coming on board. So that's seems to be the case with everything. Sort of existing legacy users maybe dropping off and not enough new people coming in. But hopefully with a bit of liquidity, and certainly with a rise in the token price, it'll probably draw some people in at least. There's been a number of other developments. I won't go through the whole thing. You can come to Massari and have a read yourself if you want. It is free. The Ethereum one isn't, unfortunately. I would like to sort of have a read of that just to compare. You can sort of get some of the information elsewhere from the looks of it, but yeah, it's sort of fair amount going on, I would say, compared to some other tokens and platforms. Certainly the deep in sort of physical infrastructure type projects are sort of something you don't see on many chains. That seems to be largely a Solana thing. And then yeah, I'm not sure I agree at all with this this acronym, only possible on Solana use cases. They're sort of saying a lot of this payment stuff is only possible on Solana, and that's the reason Visa announced it was expanding the USDC settlement pilot to Solana. I think it's sort of worth noting that people are expanding to Solana, having been already working on other projects, and when they say only possible on Solana, it's because of sort of low fees and high transactions per second, which a lot of other projects potentially can have. So personally, I would try and get away from this only possible on Solana acronym, because 6 months time, sort of another project could easily have this possible, I would say. So yeah, maybe possible at the moment on Solana is maybe the key word. Privacy, sort of new technology, I'm not really all that keen on, because I don't think governments and other sort of bodies are going to want privacy, but yeah, I guess some use isn't too bad, and some other sort of notable developments. But really, I think we're waiting on Fire Dancer, the new client, to sort of just get a bit of legitimacy to Solana in general. Sort of everyone's got their own projects launching, and people will be sort of shouting on their projects that are launching and grants and new things, but I think sort of a bit more legitimacy is needed for Solana. So as I say, no outages and sort of more use, but a sort of higher genuine transactions per second, and yeah, just a little bit less people sort of moaning about FTX and other people dumping Solana would help a great deal. Oh, and just to quickly cover the ultrasound money, I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, so the Ethereum supply continues to be pretty high, not nearly as much being burnt as issued. Last 30 days, still absolutely nothing but up. This was at sort of, what were we at the lows? 213. It's now 265. So yeah, not even sort of. What is this? 50, yeah, just about 50,000, just over 50,000 issued since the bottom. I guess not all that much. It's still 255,000 down since the merge, but yeah, it's trending upwards, and you would want to see this come down. So I am looking at the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. Has reached the bottom of my wedge. Has sort of keeps ticking up, and I think maybe that's it, and it sort of takes another leg down, but I think it has near enough ticked the bottom of that wedge, so potentially making that trade a little bit soon for Ethereum, a bit of Bitcoin into Ethereum. So that said, have a look at the coins for the week, because it is looking reasonably good. Bitcoin up about 10.8%. That's the sort of big gain for me in monetary terms, not in percent, because it's my biggest holding. Ethereum lagging behind, as I say, 4.7%. It's not getting used at the moment. Solana though up 30.3%. That's sort of one of the big gainers for the week. Chainlink 25% up. That's very, very nice. That's been sort of all over the place. It was 33%, I think, just sort of a few hours ago. Cardano 4%, not too good. XRP 6%. Power Ledger 31%. Now that is now a Solana token. They sort of migrated. Doesn't get a lot of news because it's a very small token, but yeah, they basically said what they were doing, sort of, and how they wanted to scale couldn't be done currently, at least on Ethereum. So they were migrating to Solana, and so yeah, whether they're getting, I haven't seen any specific news from them, whether they're just getting a boost from Solana getting a boost, who knows? But Matic up 9%. Quant up 3%. Audius actually down 2%, so they're not getting a boost from Solana being up. Basic Attention Token 7.6% up. Gala flat, still underperforming. VeChain up 2.3%, and Internet Computer flat. So yeah, unfortunately, the ones I was looking at potentially selling, if we got a little bit of a move up, aren't really moving up, even with the whole market sort of going up. So that's a shame. I think I'll sort of still hold on just a little bit longer, see if we can get a little bit of a bump up. It seems to be sort of different projects turn to be having a bump at the moment. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not selling just yet. But yeah, that's the portfolio for the week. I would say sort of take this with a pinch of salt, the up move, and sort of be prepared for a little bit more red first. I still think next year, really, getting the ETF and the halving and everything is sort of hopefully going to bring a more sustained bull market, but I don't think we're there quite yet. So leave your thoughts in comments below and like and subscribe. See you soon.